as well. She's got a headset right over here.
All right.
JC Bilby, our Gateway Tire Female Athlete of the Week. There's a headset for you right there. Go ahead and pop that on. Again, this is the WillCo Sports Power Hour. Check us out on WAKM, AM 950 locally and online. And we're also on the Williamson Herald Facebook page, live streaming that as well, too. JC, welcome.
Hi.
How things going?
It's going good.
Yeah?
I'm glad to be here today.
Okay. Well, Coach kind of mentioned it. When we're up here talking about you, that makes you feel pretty okay, right? Yeah?
I mean, yeah.
Tell me on your perspective a little bit about this trip to Illinois and facing some new faces there.
I think it was very good for our team to reach out and branch out on new teams, and then again we see the same teams twice a lot of times.
Yeah.
So for us to get new faces a lot, that's just such good for us because it resets us and okay, now we're ready to go to face our components this week.
Thinking of how much we jam into a season here with so many games, so much playing like that too. What do you think has changed the most from this team when you guys were down in, say, Gulf Shores just a couple months ago?
Yeah. I really think it's a mindset change because, yeah, we all want to win, but I think it's now okay, we have this chance to go, and we have the chance to go so far, especially with such the 1 through 22 strong set team that we have. And it's okay, this is now or never. So it's just it's so cool to watch everyone want it. It's competing with each other every single day of practice. It's so much fun.
This team, Coach, the camaraderie they all share. Can you kind of speak on that a little bit? Because these girls all get along so well.
They do, and they're here in force tonight.
Yeah.
We got several tables full of all the players. Let's hear it, girls. Very supportive of each other. They root for each other, and that's what you have to have. And even practice can get pretty competitive from time to time. We do some of our drills, some of our games, different activities that we do. They get very competitive and push each other, and brings out the best.
JC, when you're coming into this season here a little bit, talk about your role and what you've been trying to do. Obviously, as that leadoff position here, you kind of carry some weight on your shoulders to kick things off.
So as a player, I put a lot of pressure on myself. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. And I have to think of myself as I set the tone for the other team, or my players and the way that my team performs. So me getting on, that's my job done. And so I get on for my team. And I feel that's such an important aspect because everyone on my team is so good, and I know that they'll pick me up. So as long as I do my job, they're going to do their job, and I know that they've got me.
Coach, did you feed her those lines there?
That is all JC right there.
Love it.
That's what she brings to the table every day.
JC, this team, can you kind of speak in your words there just about how close you guys are and just expand on that? Talk a little bit about these girls. I think we had Rylan up here and we chatted a little bit about just demeanors and characters of everyone too. But tell me from your side, who stands out, who's fun to hang out with, who's loud, all those great things.
Oh my gosh. Oh, all of them are my sisters. So it's sometimes we can be each other's throats, and then sometimes we're but everyone, the outfield especially, has a very tight relationship with each other, and we trust each other so much because, or we just laugh at each other because sometimes there's a good laugh. But me, my 1, 2, and then our 3-hole just went out with an injury. We were very close, and before the games, for example, we pray every at bat because we feel God has to take that wheel for us. So and it resets us, and so I'm so close with them because it's a relationship that I know that God has given me, and I'm so grateful for them. And I'm grateful for every single person on my team. Oh, it's such a great team. I just love them.
When say there's a pop fly out there, it's kind of in between you and who's calling it out? How do you pick out who's going where? Tell me about that.
So I love getting the ball. So it's just
So if you're over in the right side, we're going to see you on the left side every now and then, just because.
Eventually, yeah, I'll make my way over there. A lot of times, on the pitch, I'll shift just so I can try and get the ball. And we are so close to both. Recognize each other's voice off the bat, that we know who's got it, and we trust each other, so it's okay, she's got it, and we're just always there for each other.
Coach, that was, watching her play and seeing that happen. She wants every ball.
She does. Any ball she can get to, she wants to get to it. She wants to be the one. She likes to have that pressure on her. She wants to be the one to do the job for her teammates, and I respect that. So,
JC, tell me a little bit about the preparation, the feeling of district tournament time here, because we kick off right away. Thursday's right around the corner here, and we're back to the familiar foes.
I think that nerves do start to set in as this is like crackdown, do or die. But we're very hardworking. Every single person on our team is very hardworking, and we set time outside of practice to go work with each other or by ourselves, just so we can be the best we can be for each other. Because we're there to pick each other up, but we're also there to hold each other accountable. So it's I do my job, you do your job. So we work so hard just so we can have the best results. And it just is amazing to me to see every single person putting in the extra work and putting in the extra time just because we want to be good.
Coach, I know you've kind of talked a little bit about it. You've mentioned it here too, but these girls don't need a lot of motivation.
No, they don't. They know what's at
How do you
stake.
steer them?
It's difficult sometimes, like herding cats from time to time, but they are very motivated to do well in this tournament and this week, and I think they feel like they have a lot to prove, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do. They're, like she said, they're extremely hard workers. They do a lot on their own. I remember a couple times we'd have a weekend practice, and they'll say, "Oh, I just went to the hit lab, or I just went to my friend's house, and we hit for an hour before practice." I'm like, that's awesome.
Wow.
It's like you can't coach that. That's awesome.
JC, tell me a little bit about this weekend trip and going to the coach's old stomping grounds and what that was like.
Well, sometimes we need a fresh start, and I think that that's a wake-up call for us to see that, okay, there are other teams out there other than the ones we're just playing, and as soon as we get past districts, we're going to face teams like that, and I think that it's taking us to take one step at a time and know that each game is important, and each game has value to get us to this bigger goal that we're all working towards.
Beyond that, you get to learn a little bit more about Coach, I think, too. We were staying at the in-laws house, right?
That's right.
Yeah. What was that experience like? What was breakfast like? I hear that was a pretty big hit.
Oh, it was so good. I was like, oh my gosh, this is yum.
Yeah.
It was so good. It's just so, because we're so close, we're able to go and do stuff like that, and we're just we're so blessed to have these people in our lives that just give up their houses for us, and I'm so thankful for that. And it's just so cool that we're able to do that.
Yeah.
All 24, Coach.
Yeah, we were all there. Air mattresses and couches and sleeping bags and the whole deal. It was fun. It was fun.
How'd you get these girls to go to bed on time?
I was upstairs. I let my assistant coaches handle all that. Coach Thomas and Coach Volpe were making sure they were all quiet. I'm sure they did a great job.
Yeah, and everyone was in bed by 10-ish probably, right? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And nobody was tired in the morning for the first
Not at
game.
all,
No,
not at all. JC, I want to hear your insight a little bit about this last game over at Summit, because going to extras, this is a rivalry matchup there. You guys have played each other a lot. Tell me about what happened in that one, because again, that was just they had a big one at the end there.
I think that Summit is a very good team, and it's always a big game to play Summit, and we always know that this is going to be the hardest game, one of the hardest games we're going to play. And we went in prepared, they went in prepared, and I feel like at the end of the day, it just came down to the little things, and I feel like this is a time for us to come back and have more motivation to come back even stronger, and we know that we are going to do that. And it just it lights a fire under us, because we're because we're going back to their stomping grounds. So now it's our time.
Yeah. Coach and I chatted briefly about that field and just the way it's kind of laid out. I mean, that center's the deepest one you got there too. What is it like playing at Summit and on that field?
I think the energy is obviously different than our field, because everything's kind of towards their side. But I think, for me at least, I don't really look at it like that. I just look at it as another place to get an opportunity to play, and I'm very thankful for that. And just something I have to be like, okay, let's just go.
It gives her more ground to cover, which isn't a bad thing. So.
Yeah. Well, thinking of that, I mean, do you play another sport too, JC, or are you all in for softball?
It's just been softball. I've played softball since I was 4,
Okay.
and it's kind of just stick that way. Softball, I love softball. I hope to play it in the future and in college. So we'll see, hope for the best and see what God has for in store for me.
Tell me about the intro to it. What kind of got you in?
So my aunt actually played at Tribeca, and it was in the Hall of Fame. And my grandfather's really big on baseball, and they're like, "Jason, why don't you just try it out?" I wasn't really a fan of the dirt. I'd play with it, pretend it was fairy dust.
Okay.
But I think that's kind of where the love started, and I was like, "This is fun. I want to get dirty." But it just kept growing from there. I love being on the field. I love competing. I love to try. I compete with myself a lot, and one of the things I'm my biggest competitor, and I always feel like I can do so much better the second time than I am the first time.
Okay. That pressure that you always kind of hold yourself up like that, though. I mean, that could be something. How do you handle that of like knowing like I want to do better this time, I want to do better that time? How do you handle the pressure and keep driving that way?
So the pressure very much is a big thing for me because like on this team, and I play travel. My travel team holds me to a very high standard. And pressure is this thing, something that we have to like deal with. It's either you deal with it or it deals with you. And it's just something that you have to think about. It's like it's a pleasure to be able to get that pressure because you'd rather have that pressure than be like I have nothing to like look at. So I like that pressure. Obviously, like something I do to reset is I pray. I pray all the time. Like before I go in the box, I have like this ritual I draw across and I pray, and I'm just like, Lord, help me. I just feel like it resets everything, and the pressure, I use it because I'm like, okay, let's go, one more time. I feel like I use it to my advantage rather than a disadvantage.
Coach, I know that connection to the faith is really there a lot. Tell us, how does that keep this team together and keep them so close?
Yeah, that's been really neat for me. I sponsor the FCA huddle at our school, and a lot of these girls go, which is why we're on now because we have a meeting at 7:09 tonight.
We're getting you out of here, right? Yeah.
So no, it's just neat. It's just neat to see them come together, and they can, they each have their own little routines that they do, and little ways that they pray, or little ways that they pay their respects, and they understand where their talent comes from. So I think that's pretty neat.
It's neat to see. There's a big maturity level with that when you see it.
Absolutely. And this one, I mean, just having played so much, even as a sophomore, has matured a lot over the last couple of years. It's been really neat to see.
Well, we've heard from Coach a little bit there. JC, before we wrap things up here, give us your final thoughts on this postseason coming up because, we get to see you. Everything counts a little differently. The new season's upon us here.
I think that we're coming out with everyone is 0-0. And I think it does put a bit of pressure on us, but it also is like, okay, how can we win this? How can we catch another win under our belts? And I feel like this will be something that is going to drive us and is important to us because at the end of the day, we are playing for each other rather than ourselves. And if you play for each other rather than yourselves, then I feel like we have a very good chance of going really far this season. And I can see us going.
Super
well
exciting.
said.
Yes, I think that wraps it up really well. Guys, I can't thank you enough for taking some time, bringing the girls here too. We love the atmosphere here. Looking forward to following you. I think I'll be camped out at Summit for plenty of these games here. So
I hope so.
Yeah, happy to be following. Again, congratulations, JC Bilbrey, our Gateway Tire Female Athlete of the Week. Congratulations. Coach Patton, thanks for coming again.